Most people don't have a productivity problem. They rather have a timing problem. They think that they need to be productive all day long to make progress and achieve their goals, but that's just plain and simple wrong. The truth is that the first 4 to 5 hours of your day are the most important hours of the day, and you can get a lot more done if you only focus on these hours and not really worry about the rest of the day. Using this exact strategy, I was able to become a software engineer at Fortune 500 companies and become one of the best performing students in my bachelor's and master's program. In this video, I'm going to break down how you can implement this 4-hour strategy into your own life and achieve all your goals. The idea for this entire 4-hour system didn't come from me. It actually comes from an observation made by Cal Newport, the author of the book Deep Work. In his research, Newport found that some of the world's highest performing individuals, elite musicians, academics, writers, and other cognitive high performers weren't spending 12 hours a day being focused. Instead, most of them were only capable of maintaining their highest levels of concentration for just around 3 to 4 hours a day. After that point, the quality of their work began to decline. They became more susceptible to distractions, decision fatigue set in, and maintaining the same level of intensity became difficult. And honestly, once I heard this, it changed the way that I thought about productivity. Because most of us operate under the assumption that being productive means squeezing useful work out of every waking hour. We expect ourselves to stay focused from morning until night and then feel guilty when we inevitably fall short. But what if that's not how we are designed to work? What if instead of trying to be productive for 16 hours straight, we accepted that we only have a limited amount of high quality mental energy available each day? Think of it like having 4 hours of cognitive fuel in you. You can spend that fuel little by little throughout the day, 30 minutes here, 40 minutes there, constantly trying to switch back on into focus while distractions pull you in every direction. Or you can concentrate those 4 hours into a single protected block at the beginning of your day. This is when your mind is fresh and your willpower is the strongest. That's the philosophy behind this entire video. The goal isn't to work more, the goal is to use your best hours more intentionally. Because once you have already completed the tasks that matter most, things like your workout, your studying, your writing, your personal growth, you stop carrying them around in the back of your mind for the rest of the day. Now, in order to successfully implement this 4-hour system, it is absolutely critical that you start your day the right way. Start your day by doing something that you deem as productive and it is slightly demanding. This way, you're setting the benchmark for your day. You're letting your mind know that if it wants to experience a good feeling, it has to first perform the hard work. However, if you start your day with something like checking notifications, doom scrolling, watching UFC, or pretty much anything that offers instant dopamine, then you're gonna have a very hard time getting yourself to do hard things later on and focus on them. That's because you have already told your body that leisure is readily available and all you have to do is just move your fingers here and there. So why would you bother working hard? What I do personally each night is that I make sure my desk is clean and I know exactly what I'm supposed to do in the mornings and all the necessary requirements are out and ready just the night before. This helps remove any friction in the morning and makes it much more likely that I am going to make the right decision and get to doing something productive. Also, each night before I go to bed, I put my phone on flight mode. And there are two main reasons for this. Firstly, I get a much better quality of sleep when I'm not interrupted by calls or texts at night. Secondly, once you wake up in the morning, you're no longer tempted to check notifications. Because I have this deal with myself that I am not going to disable this flight mode until I have finished those 4 hours of deep work in the day. Just a pro tip, when you're actually implementing this 4-hour system, you don't have to just sit for 4 hours straight and try to do all the work. I typically break down my work into 3 to 4 sets, where each set is roughly an hour long. After each working set, it is critical that you at least recover for 10 minutes before you start the next set, just so you actually feel fresh. However, this is the part where most people go wrong. During your break, do not open your cell phone and start scrolling or start watching a TV show. If you do something that is highly stimulating, such as this, you're probably not going to want to return to the next set, and you're probably going to feel extremely distracted while trying to focus on the next set. The kind of break that I recommend is just going outside for a quick 10-minute walk out in the open, or even just looking outside your window at distance. That's because these activities are not hyper stimulating, yet they are rejuvenating. So there is no risk of you not wanting to go back to the next set. Have a deal with yourself that the only time that you are going to allow yourself to engage in something highly stimulating like video games or Netflix is only going to be after you have finished your 4 hours of deep focus work. If you're someone like me and you're very much interested in physically demanding activities like lifting weights and MMA, yet equally interested in cognitively demanding activities like running a business or learning new skills, then you are left with the question that, what do I do first? How do I organize my physical training sessions with my deep work blocks? So in this chapter, I'm just going to share my experiences regarding mixing the two. I typically try to finish all my 4 hours of deep work before I do an activity that is physically demanding. The reason why I do this is because sometimes if you're having a really intense session at the gym or during MMA, it takes a lot out of you and it then becomes much harder to focus later on in the day. So ideally, I prefer getting all my deep work out of the way before an intense training session. However, not every training session is all out effort. If the training session requires around 70% effort or less, then you can definitely schedule it between your deep work session. So you could do 2 hours of focus work, then hit the gym for an hour, and then come back and immediately get to working on the other 2 hours. I have noticed that when you follow this approach and your training session, especially when done at 70% intensity or less, then it has sort of a rejuvenating effect on your cognitive ability and you feel much more fresher for your next deep work session. Look, when you're just first starting out with this early morning 4-hour productivity system, go easy on yourself. Maybe just start with 1 hour and a couple of days later, step it up to 2 hours, and then a week after that, step it up to 3 hours. Because to be honest, that is how I progressed. By taking simple baby steps at a time and not overwhelming yourself with 4 hours of work to be done. But trust me, once you finally incorporate this system into your life and it becomes your second nature, it feels like you are being rewarded every single day just for showing up. As always, in case no one has told you this today, I am rooting for you.